Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pac, aka Herald of Galacta, and I think Marvel Rivals has one pretty big problem. And I'm not talking about role lock, I'm not talking about monetization, I'm talking about Vanguards and Strategists not having enough characters. This game desperately needs more Vanguards and Strategists. I do think that the current ones in game are fun, but they're just lacking in numbers. So here's a quick rapid fire list of some characters that I think could make good strategists and vanguards in Marvel Rivals. I think some of them will surprise you, so here we go. Number 1, Quicksilver, Strategist. I think Quicksilver as a strategist is something that could be really cool and offer a unique character to the strategist role that focuses on speed buffs and burst healing and area controls. He could drop small cyclones that push back enemies, he could like zoom from one ally to another, giving them heals, and then occasionally zooming to enemies to knock them back and do like burst damage and things like that. But he could be really cool as a strategist. Number 2, Kang the Conqueror, Strategist. I think Kang as a strategist would be something really unique as well. I think something he could do with his like time mechanics could be like reducing allies cooldowns, so maybe he's able to like, oh, for the next couple of seconds that allies cooldowns are all reduced, so that could like help him either get back into the fight or do more rapidly in the fight. I also think he could like slow enemies down with like time vortexes and like do healing over time. But overall I think he'd be a great strategist. Number 3, Ant-Man, Vanguard. I think Ant-Man as a Vanguard would be really interesting if like normally he's like a duelist size and he has just like melee combat or something like that, and then he's able to like pop a button that like allows him to grow big. Maybe he has like charges, like Pym particle charges that'll recharge slowly, where he can become big like Hulk size or like Groot size and is able to like dish out more damage as well as like take more damage. I also think something cool that he could have is ant swarms, where he's able to place little swarms of ants in certain areas to like deny, and they'll do damage over time, and they're on a timer and they're undestroyable, so like you just have to get away from them. But I think he could be a great Vanguard. Number 4, and the first surprise of the list, is Wolverine as a Vanguard. Now I know Wolverine is already in the game obviously, but I think Wolverine being reassigned to Vanguard just kind of makes sense. His kit almost feels already like he was designed as a Vanguard and then moved to Duelist in development. But I think if you were to increase his base health, change his passive to just be a standard, self-heal over time after not taking damage, or after like popping his rage, and then, make him a little bit bigger and change the way his damage works, he'd be, I think, a better Vanguard than Duelist. So I think Wolverine as a Vanguard, I think it should happen. Number 5, Nick Fury, Strategist. I think Nick Fury would actually be really cool in the game. I think he's important to Marvel, especially, MCU fans, know who Nick Fury is because obviously he started the Avengers and that. But even in the comics, he has some important moments. But I think him as a strategist would be unique. I think he could be more of like a DPS strategist in the way that Adam is, where he's got some healing, but like he really focuses more around like his damage output. I also think he could have a unique mechanic where he's like able to like mark enemies. Like his whole thing is intelligence. So like if he could like put these little nodes on the ground that are like sensors, and when an enemy gets close, it like alerts him and his allies that like, oh, there's an enemy, over here, over there. And then like he's able to like throw down a health pack generator. So like a standard health pack that just generates, he's able to deploy one of those at a time. But he could be a cool strategist. Number 6, Silver Surfer, Strategist. I think Silver Surfer as a strategist would be really unique. I think his aura fits a strategist, just like his essence in the comics. He's a more of like a ethereal being, so I don't see him really as like a duelist. He doesn't seem super hyper aggressive to me. And I think he could be a permaflyer, which would be unique to healers, so he could always be flying. And I think he could focus on like power buffs and like like healing from a distance. And I also think if they really tapped into like the really comic booky vibes where like he shoots like a beam and it's like a multicolored beam, would be really interesting. Number 6, Medusa, Vanguard. I think Medusa repping the Inhumans and being a Vanguard is, to me, like a must do. I think she's a perfect candidate for a Vanguard. Her hair could function as a shield, it could be a displacement tool, you could pull enemies, pull allies. There's a lot that you could do with it. I think Medusa as a Vanguard would be really awesome. Number 8, and another surprise, an already existing character. I think Storm should be reimagined as a strategist, and I have a simple solution. You don't change anything about the kit other than the fact that you give her one extra button, and it's called Healing Rain. and it automatically activates. It doesn't switch her from wind or lightning, whichever one. All her kit functions the same. All it does is it allows within your area of effect circle, it starts raining and healing over time. So you just give her one simple healing effect, and if you use your booster, like, you know, you boost your damage or you boost your speed, it also boosts your healing output. So like that could just be a really easy, simple way to make Storm into a strategist. And I think, like we said, need more strategists. Storm is another big name. She could be a strategist. She already kind of functions like one anyways. So yeah, put Storm as in the strategist category. Number 9, Shang-Chi as a strategist. Shang-Chi could be a really cool stance character where he switches between a long-range poke with low healing output, kind of like Zenyatta, to a short-range damage, but like giving his 10 rings to allies to increase or to reduce their damage and give them healing over time. So having him be a stance character that switches between healing and offense would be really unique, and something that people probably wouldn't see coming with Shang-Chi as a strategist. Number 10, Black Knight as a Vanguard. I think Black Knight as a Vanguard would be really, really awesome, and I'd be curious to see how they bulk him up for their designs and the way that they kind of did with like Doctor Doom and like Thor a little bit. I think it'd be really awesome if you focused on the Ebony Blade and sort of the curse or maddening effect that it has, and like give him almost like a, the more damage he deals, like he kind of snowballs on his own. And give him like some like Junker Queen-esque abilities, like he's able to throw his sword and pull it back, and like has like a shout and things like that. He could be a really cool Vanguard. Number 11, Emma Frost, Vanguard. I think Emma Frost as a Vanguard is a no-brainer. I think some people have worries about her size, but I think just give her a giant, big fluffy fur coat, and boom, she's big enough to be a Vanguard in the way that Captain America is, in a sense. Give her diamond form, give her some like psychic barriers that she can deploy that can be like just big enough for one person to stand behind, and they last for maybe 5 seconds and then they go away. She could be such a great, cool Vanguard. So yeah, definitely Emma Frost is a Vanguard for sure. Number 12, the Juggernaut, Vanguard. I think the Juggernaut as a Vanguard is pretty much inevitable. Giving him like a run ability the way that Captain America has, where basically if he runs into enemies, he like knocks them back, and then like he's able to instantly break through breakable walls. So like with him, his passive would be that if he runs through a wall, it just breaks the whole thing. I think that could be something really unique to Juggernaut, and you could even involve some of his like Sidorak stuff. I don't know how they would do that, but the Rivals team is creative enough; they would figure something out. So yeah, Juggernaut as a Vanguard for sure. Number 13, Mr. Fantastic. Now, if you've been keeping up with leaks, you know that Mr. Fantastic already is going to be in the game as a duelist, but I think they need to switch him to a Vanguard. Some of the things I've seen from his kit, he just sounds like a Vanguard to me. So I feel like it just makes sense. Why wouldn't you put him as a Vanguard? But we'll see what happens. But I think Mr. Fantastic should be a Vanguard, stretching out his body to protect his allies. It could be really cool. Number 14, Dr. Octopus as a Vanguard. I think this is going to happen eventually too. I think this is a great choice for a Vanguard. He could have the way I see him is when he's attacking, he's walking on his regular feet and using his tentacles to attack, and then he's able to do almost like a Ramatra type block with his tentacles, and that like his passive would be if like he's not attacking, if he after walking for like a second or two, he starts automatically walking on his tentacles, and that makes him walk a little bit faster. I also think he'd be able to wall climb, but he could be a really cool Vanguard. Number 11, Howard the Duck as a Vanguard. So shout out to Cosmic Doc for coming up with this idea. I don't know if he's the only one, but he's the one that I saw it from. But Howard the Duck in a mech suit as a Vanguard. I'm here for it. I want it. Let's do it. I think it'd be really cool, and it'd be a funny character, and it'd be like the silly character of the Vanguard. So Howard the Duck in a mech suit as a Vanguard. Let's get it. Number 16, Elsa Bloodstone as a strategist. Now, a lot of people, when they think Elsa Bloodstone, they think duelist, but I think she could be really cool as a strategist. Like, she could have a sniper, or maybe not a sniper, like an Ash type gun, where she can, shoot decent damage. Obviously, you have to tone it down as a strategist, but I also think if you use her Bloodstone to heal and damage, so like she holds it out in front of her, it like shines like a cone. I don't know what the word for it is, of light, and like all of the allies in the range get healed over time, kind of quickly, the way that like maybe Iari's healing beam works, but in this case it's like a beam of like a spread of light, and then it does damage over time to enemies in that area. And she could also use all kinds of trinkets, holy water, crossbow, whatever she uses to do monster hunting in the comics as like the rest of her kit. But I think she could be a great strategist. Number 17, Morbius, strategist. Now, Morbius could really offer something unique to the strategist, and the fact that I could see him as a melee strategist who has to do damage in order to gain heals, kind of like how Moira does in Overwatch, right? But so he gets in, maybe he has like 2 fades, kind of like how Scarlet Witch does, but his would function a little bit more like a dash fade, and he has to like damage enemies to like build up his gauge as well as self-heal himself, and then he goes back to the team and he's able to deploy that healing to the allies. But Morbius as a strategist, the memes write themselves. Let's make it happen. Number 18, Dr. Voodoo as a strategist. I think Dr. Voodoo as a strategist could be really, really cool if they focus on like the element where he's able to like deploy his brother's spirit in order to like help his allies. And I also think it'd be cool if he was like able to do like smoke, like healing kind of smoke fields that were like, they'd last for like 3 seconds and they, you know, block vision of the enemies but like heal the allies. It could be a unique mechanic for him. Number 19, Mr. Sinister as a strategist. I think Mr. Sinister as a strategist could be really awesome. I think something that can make him unique is if he gets bonuses as he assists, almost as if it's like positive research. It's like, okay, I help this person, they get an assist. Oh, okay, maybe my healing is increased for the next few seconds or something like that. And kind of the longer he lives, the stronger he gets as he gets assists. I think that could be a unique mechanic for Mr. Sinister. Number 20, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur as a Vanguard. This is a shout out to Miller Ross because this is an idea that I've heard him champion, and I think it's awesome. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur as a Vanguard would be so cool. Moon Girl could use her tech and her gadgets and her intelligence to like come up with different things for the kit, and then Devil Dinosaur could be like the offense where he's like biting and chomping at the enemies as Moon Girl's doing her thing as a Vanguard. So yeah, definitely make them a Vanguard. Number 21, Wiccan as a strategist. I think Wiccan could deploy healing hexes, so little circles on the ground that like basically give like a healing beam up into the sky, so like any allies who are standing over it or flying above it will get healing over time. And I think he could also have a really unique mechanic that I would be cool for him as far as like reality manipulation, where his ultimate is that he basically gives an ally a free ult instantly to use, and like maybe even part of his like kit is like he's able to like somehow boost people's ult charge, like make them gain ult faster. Like that would be his sort of utility as a strategist. It's just building other people's ults. But yeah, Wiccan could be awesome. Number 22, Apocalypse as a Vanguard. So Apocalypse as a Vanguard I think would be an awesome X-Men rep. He could focus around like boosting other people's powers, and maybe he could have like 4 abilities, one for each of the horsemen, and like they'd each do a different thing and like boosting your allies in a different way. But yeah, I think Apocalypse as a Vanguard, it just makes sense and it would be awesome. Number 23, MODOK Vanguard. So I think MODOK as a Vanguard could be really cool, and I think his sort of tanking mechanic could be something akin to like Take a Breather or like Bastion's self-repair, where he's able to like heal himself as he's in the fight. I think another thing that would be cool for him is like an auto-lock turret on like a quick timer. So he like selects an enemy that's within his range, clicks the button, and for like the next 3 to 5 seconds, missiles like, you know, boom, 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 just launch at this enemy, and they're slow projectiles, but like it'll keep, you know, space. It creates space for him. I think that'd be a really unique mechanic for MODOK as a Vanguard. Number 24, Kitty Pryde as a strategist. Now this one would be difficult as far as like the healing mechanics go, but I don't know that they're gonna make every single strategist have to heal. But I could see Kitty Pryde being a unique strategist where she's able to like cling to an ally and make them invulnerable and be able to move through walls for a short period of time, but obviously during that time they wouldn't be able to shoot or like be offensive, but like it could be a cool stealth mechanic where she could like help an ally be stealthy. I also think like having Lockheed with her where he could like be assigned to an ally to protect them and like, you know, act as like a traveling turret with them for a little while could be really unique as a strategist. Number 25, Beast as a strategist. So a lot of people think Beast should be a Vanguard, and I could see that too, but I also think he could be a good strategist where he's like leaping from teammate to teammate, and I think instead of like just pure healing, I think it'd be interesting if he was doing like armor generation, where he was like giving them armor packs, kind of like Rocket gives armor packs, but like his would be a lot more frequent, and that sort of is his sort of form of healing. So he doesn't really help their base health, but he can give them extra health essentially. That would be a unique way to be a strategist. I also think that he could like deploy a single healing station that functions almost like, I wouldn't say healing turret, but it's like you go to the near it and it like sprays you with a little bit of healing, and it's got that maybe like once every 3 seconds, and that teammates could like play around that. But yeah, I think he could be a cool strategist. So that's it. That's my list of different characters I think could make great strategists in Vanguards and Marvel Rivals. I think we need to see them sooner rather than later. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about them in the comments. If there was any ones that you liked, didn't like, what you would change, if there are any characters that you would personally add, and let me know. I might, create more fleshed out character concept videos using some of these characters, so be on the lookout for that, and check out some of the other videos that we already have. If you liked what you see here, be sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching.